Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to this special meeting tonight that's been called thanks to the efforts of some councillors, especially Shane Folletti, who lives on South Ward, is a South Ward councillor, because obviously we've all got concerns about the LP 1511, Highfield Road and beyond. Originally, a few years ago, I think it was 2008 to 2010, there was an application to take green belt and put it into brown belt, which is on these maps that my colleague Neville Ford will be handing out shortly. It was HS54, so I think that was for 80 houses. The application now is to extend that into the playing fields to the right, top of Ashfield Road, and behind Greenfield Road and Burtonwood Bank. I mean, obviously, Neville Ford is from the Local Development Framework Team, Wakefield Metropolitan District Council, so he will explain what he can to you, and then we'll accept questions from you. What I would like you to ask is if we can stick to this Highfield application, if you would please, and we need to be finished for 6 o'clock because there's somebody else in this room at 6. So once again, thanks very much for attending.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. No? You can now. Okay, thank you. Is anybody filming this meeting this evening? Okay, thank you. As the Chair said, my name is Neville Ford. I'm the Council Service Manager for Planning and Transportation. And one of my responsibilities is to prepare the Council's statutory development plan. All councils are required to have a development plan in place, and its purpose is to identify land to meet future needs, particularly for housing and employment purposes, but also leisure, recreation, associated infrastructure, and also to protect and enhance the environment. It also has a series of policies that are used to determine planning applications, and as you're probably all aware, development cannot take place until planning permission has been granted in almost all circumstances. Small developments, such as some extensions to people's homes and so on, don't need planning consent. So thank you for inviting me along this evening. Apologies I've not been able to attend before, but it's been up to local elections. And what I would like to do tonight is just try very briefly set some context for you and then answer some of your questions. So the Council is preparing a new local plan. We've been doing that for a number of years, and it's now subject to examination by a government-appointed planning inspector. We submitted the plan in May 2021. The examination started in earnest in August 2021, and the inspector held a number of hearing sessions in the Town Hall in Wakefield during November and December. When we submitted the plan, we also submitted what was called a schedule of changes. So during the examination, the inspector's been considering those potential changes along with all the evidence presented by us and by all those people who attended the hearing sessions. And at the moment, the examination continues, and later this year there will be another consultation about the draft plan. If the inspector thinks that the plan that's been submitted is broadly sound. Now, to inform that next stage of consultation, the inspectors asked us to consult on a small number of changes that have been discussed at the hearing sessions, and that's the consultation that you're now aware of that closes at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. It's got a fancy name, pre-made modifications consultation, but it is basically about some changes to the plan. I've got some maps here because I like to distribute them so you can understand what it is we're actually consulting on through this particular consultation. So I've got 3 maps. It's quite important that they're looked at in the right order. I've got about 25 of each. I suspect there's probably more than 25 people in the room, but if you come together, if you could perhaps share a plan between you. Okay, so I'll just stop talking for a moment and then pass these plans out for you. I'll just give it a moment or two while the plans are handed out. I think the key, can everybody still hear me? You're working particularly well. I think the key thing I want to do is to help you understand that we're not starting with a blank piece of paper. There is an existing adopted local plan in the district, and it designates certain land for certain uses, and it identifies the extent of the green belt. The draft plan is making some changes to those designations, but then they're not as big as people might first think. So I just want to be able to explain what the changes are in relation to this particular part of Hemsworth.
Rather than an hour, you should have had all these on seats. It's a waste of time, isn't it?
Well, sorry, the intention isn't to waste time, but it's important that these
It's only an hour and you've been on seats and you could have numbered them.
I'll only take a few more minutes to explain the changes, but
You're just trying to get it through quick so you can't get people to talk about it. On seats, 1, 2, 3, explain over your mic. Waste of time. Because they'll be kicking the darts at seats.
just while the maps are being taken round, you will have 3 maps, and I'll take you through each of them. The first one shows what the land's allocated for at the moment in the adopted local plan, which you may have heard called the Local Development Framework. And what that first plan shows you is the extent of the green belt around the southwest side of Hemsworth, and it identifies in red land that's already allocated for housing in the existing plan.
These haven't got maps yet, these later. Well, I know, but I'm just saying that these say they're not organised. Seems you.
I've got things to about you. Just give me 1 second. I'm on with you. I'm sorry. I'm with okay. Yeah, I'm good at you.
Do most of you now have maps in front of you?
We don't live together. Can I get you some photocopy? Is that all right? Because I haven't got enough around. Only 25. I'm not low. I can get a photocopy for you. We need to hear. Message me and I'll get you some more. I'm going to get some more. You know. Have I got some? Not equal numbers.
Okay, most of you got 3 maps in front of you. If you could let the lady going down the room if you haven't. So the first map should look like this one here.
That one, yeah.
So on this shows you the current allocation of land in the existing adopted plan for the district. So you can see the extent of the green belt in green. You can see some shapes highlighted in red, and they're the housing allocations. In respect to the meeting tonight, if you can see HS 54, adjacent to HS 54 are playing pictures, which you'll all be familiar with. They are not in the green belt, but they are protected as playing fields. The land to the south of HS 54 also is not in the green belt at the moment, so it's unallocated, as the playing pictures are. If you look at the second map, which should look like that one, we can provide more copies if anybody hasn't got their own copy.
He's got to get some more photocopies.
So can people see that map?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is an extract from the draft local plan that the council published in October 2020, and it is the version of the plan that has been examined by the planning inspector. So on there you'll see an additional housing site to the south of what was LS 54, so you can see the 2 housing sites together, and you can see the playing fields unallocated. What you can see to the west of that is a fairly extensive area coloured in yellow. So that land is being removed from the green belt, but it's been allocated as safeguarded land. That means there will be no development on that land for the foreseeable future. We are required, when we prepare a plan, to identify land and safeguard it that might be needed in the future. There's no commitment for that land to be developed, and the council will not grant planning consent for any form of permanent development on that land.
Until the farmer sells it.
It won't matter if the farmer sells it, it's safeguarded from development.
Why has it affected us then?
Sorry,
LB21.
if you just let me run through the third map, then I'm more than happy to answer questions. Third map, which should look like this, is the map that's currently part of the consultation. Now, what you'll see on this map is that the area coloured red has been extended north to cover the playing fields, and part of the safeguarded land has been removed and included in this larger housing allocation. The reason for that is that the playing pitches need to be replaced before development can take place, and that new shape on the map allows the playing fields to be relocated within that housing area. So they will be relocated adjacent to where the current playing pitches are, just to the west. So they would abut the area highlighted in yellow. So in terms of changes to the plan as a result of this particular consultation, no more land is being taken out of the green belt. So just so that people are clear about that. Now this is the version of the plan that's included in the consultation document. And the two documents you really need to look at are this document here, which the title is Pre-May Modifications, Consultation, New Sites. And that is accompanied by a sustainability appraisal of the proposed changes. We are required to set out how we've considered the change and whether we think it's sustainable. So those two documents are the documents that are subject to consultation.
When were they published? Just recently?
These documents were published at the start of the consultation period, and it's a 6-week consultation period, and it finishes on Wednesday, so they were published 5.5 weeks ago.
So why won't nobody told about them then?
Yeah, our road backs onto where your flood's built, and yet nothing came through our doors, nothing went on the lampposts, nothing was told to us to give us a chance to talk about it.
Unlike,
You're building right next to somebody's house. Aren't you supposed to give them a warning and tell them about these proposed buildings?
Obviously, the process of what you're doing to inform the residents, we're clearly not working. This is the second time now, so this process needs to be sorted, because nobody knew about this until a couple of weeks ago.
well, you won't have known about it more than 5 weeks ago, because it only started 5
We
weeks
didn't know about
ago.
it.
We didn't know about it for a couple of weeks ago when Melanie Jones brought it up.
Well, it means your local councils are aware of it, the town council's aware of
We're the residents. It should be us that's told, not the council. They're not doing the job.
it. The documents are available in the library. The documents
The
are...
last one with the water belly, they were the library, the last LT21.
And look at these things. Otherwise you have
One question I want to ask. You're taking the playing field and you say you're going to replace it. Where are you going to replace it? Is it coming off our estate and going on to the new estate?
What it is doing, yeah.
Because that's not on. Our kids have nowhere to go. They use that field all the time. For the football, in winter, they use it for sledging, this, that, and it's the only place that we've got on our estate, and you're taking it.
That is
We've got nothing.
accessible side.
like
kids to
that, 'cause
play on
some of the paperwork
safely.
what you put out, you put that it's not even.
You're pushing the children onto
I
the
coached on that
streets
field.
where it's
I
not
coached
safe
in
because of
Kingsway,
the
there's
traffic.
140 children
Excuse
use
me,
that
we're
field.
not going to, I'm not going to answer your questions unless the questions are asked one at a time and you're willing just to let me try and answer them. I'll answer them as briefly as I
Because
can.
we feel passionate about
So-
what's happening in our
I coached on that
community.
field. We have 140 children connected to that field. At least 60 of them come off that estate, what you're talking about taking it away from. Now you're talking about moving it and putting it onto other parts, to other estate.
It's not going to be on any estate, it's not on an estate now. It's council-owned land that's available as plain pictures. It will be available in an improved condition with improved
Right,
marking.
the next point is then, we went to get a lease on that land. And we were going through all the process till we were told at the end of it, we can't have a lease on that land because the council don't own that land. It was donated in the 60s to the estate.
So it's common
If
land.
that's the
It's
case,
common land.
if that's the
You
case,
can't take
how
common
can
land.
you take that land from us?
It's common land.
It's not common.
It is common land. If you donate to the state, then it's common land.
And it's obviously
Under landlord,
it's
it's common
legal
land.
and
You
above
don't
law
make it
because
to
the
the
state.
Wakefield Council told us in a meeting this.
What I suggest you do then is send those comments in response to this consultation to say that you believe that land's common land. So that's the sort of comment that we want back.
Take this away from children of that.
That's all you've done last 5 years is build houses in Hemsworth. No new doctors.
With
No,
no
nothing.
infrastructure to
Yeah,
accommodate it all.
He's not bothered, he's only from
And you're on about building 200 houses down a park.
What's
And then 180 houses up here. You had all the families up to that. We can't cope with it.
Remember LP 21, please.
How many houses were it? 185? Say at least 100 of them drive. At least 100 cars on there. We're on gridlock as it is when it's rush hour in this
Yeah,
area.
Tesco.
Also, I'm a driving
Money,
instructor in this
money,
area,
Tesco.
so I'm in that traffic constantly.
And the reason it's in yellow is because that land is owned by Archbishop Holgate. So you can't touch it, so it's nothing to do with the farmer. He rents that land.
We're aware of who owns the land.
No, you're actually not, because you're saying that the playing field's yours, and it ain't. It's ours. We don't want it going. Our kids use it regularly.
They don't just use it, they're there constantly,
Yeah, exactly.
every day.
We've nowhere
It's
to
been established for the last 50 odd years, that field, and we want to keep
7
it.
days a week, there's football on that field, there's a crowd kids playing.
Can I just
Sorry, yeah, okay, look.
Things should have asked
What Alan's doing is taking details down, objections that we put forward, so that we can put it into an objection before Wednesday.
Yeah, but what you're going to do, are you actually going to put it in? Because you didn't even tell us about it. So are you actually going to do something?
Neville stated that, that you've been informed. I don't believe you have been informed.
We haven't, yeah.
Yeah, exactly the same as Woodlands. You've got HS.
No.
You've got HS. Can we just come to order and one at a time speak? Otherwise, we're not going to make progress. You've got HS 54. Yes, I understand that. We're saying we've got HS 54. If you look at HS 54 on your map, that was allocated about 10 or 12 years ago for housing. Off of Willow Drive, up to Greenfield Road, and up to the bottom of Ashfield Road. I think it was allocated for 80 houses 10 years ago. A lot of people didn't even know about that. And the position that we're in now is that Wakefield Council wants to extend the take away green belt and turn it into brown belt, which includes taking playing fields that everybody.
Their excuse for that field was never used. You go on that field any time of the day, every day of the week, and that field is being used by someone.
And obviously, that's the points that Alan's going to put down, that we can make representation to put an objection in before 11, before Wednesday. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, we did ask this gentleman to come, but like I explained 3 or 4 weeks ago, he weren't available, then we got voted, and so we pushed vote out to get him here tonight, to have this meeting so we can hear that, you know, how disgruntled and upset you are, which is, it's echoed with this council. So if I can pass it back to Neville, you put your points in, let Alan take them, and then we, you know, if we need to take legal action on this, then we can. But he's here tonight to answer your questions, so if we continue in an orderly manner, we'll be able to move progress. Thank you.
This lady over here, please.
I've got a few concerns. I mean, during rain and stuff, the bypass floods really bad. Now, this land, what you're building on, all that water from this land, which is, by the way, very boggy, and it does get really bad with flooding on the field itself. That water runs down already onto the bypass, and that bypass ends up getting waterlogged. So you put concrete on that. How bad's this? How are you going to sort the bypass for us?
Well, one of the policies that have to be adhered to is that if development does take place on greenfield land, then the provision has to be made to make sure that.
But also this lady's garden gets flooded and everything.
Provision has to be made to make sure that water does not leave the site at a faster rate than it does on greenfield land. So what we will be looking to do will be looking to get the developer to improve the situation, to put flood attenuation measures in place so that the water can be stored and then can run off at a rate that the surrounding land and adjacent drains can accommodate. We're very, very conscious about the increased risk of flooding that climate change is bringing forward.
We're surrounded in it, and all this building's making it worse.
Sorry, I'll just say the intention will be to try and improve the situation. It's uncontrolled at the moment from greenfield land. If development takes place, then it will be controlled. And it's part of our responsibility and the developer's responsibility to make sure it's controlled in a way that improves the situation.
It's on a rag at weekend, the Sun, Michael Cove put a piece in about building on greenfields, right? He says it's going to be down to the people to vote on it. Not what you've done with us. So it's up to the local people to have a say in what gets built and what gets scrapped. And that's coming in Queen's speech tomorrow, if it is tomorrow. Because this lot in Wakefield is corrupt as your...
This lady here with the glasses on her.
Can I just ask, obviously, you're looking at doing all this.
Can we have one meeting, please? If you raise your hand, then the gentleman will answer your questions. Thank you.
Can I just ask, obviously, you're looking at all this other building, we've got other sites like LP21. What provisions are you putting in for doctors, schools, dentists, and also for people's health, being able to walk in places
And traffic.
and traffic.
That's the main thing.
All we're seeing in those plans, and I've read them and I've scrutinised them and I've looked at your pieces of paper. I've also seen your new piece that you've actually put on site just before this meeting to show us about the new playing fields. But there's nothing in any of that plan about schools, about dentists, about doctors.
Over 800 hours.
So, what are you actually doing regarding that?
To safeguard the rest of the community.
Right, so I'll try and deal with infrastructure generally and education specifically. We do consult with our education colleagues and we consult with a range of organisations to understand what the impact might be of any new development. That's all set out in the technical reports that have been submitted to the planning inspector. Information about what we expect on this particular site is set out in the consultation document you've got in front of you in terms of what we expect in terms of highways, what we expect in terms of education. If our education colleagues indicate there's a shortage of provision, and we will then require a contribution, financial contribution from the developer towards improving that education facility. Now we deliberately leave it open-ended because things change over time, and there's little point writing in the plan, we need one extra classroom at school A, because when the development takes place, the situation may have changed. You'll all know the numbers of children vary over time. In the past, there was pressure on the primary sector that worked its way through to pressure on the secondary sector, and it goes in cycles. But be assured, we do take account of the technical responses. We've looked at many options for development. Approaching 900 options have been looked at, and the vast majority of those have been discounted. So we do what we can to try and make sure that the sites identified development are sustainable. In terms of doctors' surgeries and NHS facilities, we do engage with the clinical commissioning group. You will be aware, though, that doctors' surgeries are private businesses. There is a challenge nationally about training enough doctors, but you would expect if there's an increase in number of patients that doctor surgeries would expand. But we're in continual consultation with the clinical commissioning group to see how we can work together to get the right type of infrastructure in place. You'll be aware that the way appointments are now booked is changing. Different parts of the NHS now start to provide different services. So for example, we now have excuse me, just let me finish the point. We now have pharmacists who are able to prescribe. So you need to look at this in the round. But
We're on
yes,
about doctors and things, not that. We know all about that.
okay.
We're on about here.
This lady with the scarf.
Wakefield Council has made the decision. That's what they've done.
There's a consultation taking place. The planning inspector will make a decision.
How many times have any planning applications been turned down? Never.
If you're going to move the playing field and include the facility as part of the actual construction, are you moving it further and further away from the estate, where nobody can see what the kids are doing and nobody can keep them safe?
Yes, it's moving further west.
If they build those houses and guarantee that they're going to do something with the playing field, as in putting it somewhere else, what's to stop them saying we've run out of money? I've seen that done on planning permission before. Yes, we'll build something for the kids. Yes, we're going to put a playground on. Come the end of the day, no money left, no playground. So all these promises, what's going to actually push them forward? Next question is, what are they building? Are they building affordable 2-bedroom houses with shared equity to allow youngsters to get on the property ladder? Or are they going to build 3, 4, 5-bedroom houses to make the most profit?
Yeah, that's what they'll be doing.
Because if we've got to
Everyone
lose
that's
our
been built
land
in is insane.
and move things around, we need to have something that the community can actually benefit from. If we are losing the land, if we lose and you take it and you're actually going to build, why build things that aren't going to help the youngsters get on the property ladder?
Okay.
Because the 3 and 4-bedroom houses are not what we need for the youngsters.
Okay, in terms of the playing fields, the proposal that's been consulted on is that playing fields would move slightly west to be adjacent to where the existing playing fields are. There will be no development.
For what reason?
For what reason? Why can't you leave the field alone?
So you're going to move it into a more isolated position, where people can actually get away with destroying stuff and playing antisocial behaviour because there's nobody to see them do it. Where it is now, they are overlooked by houses and people who care about the playing fields. So any antisocial behaviour is down to a minimum. You move it into an isolated position, you will have more antisocial behaviour, you'll have more destruction, and you will have drugs and all the rest going on.
Our kids can't use them.
The playing fields won't be in an isolated location. They will be provided before development takes place, and they will be an improvement on the existing provision. That's what we're setting out. I understand you don't want the changes, so you need to respond to the consultation and say that. I'm not going to satisfy you tonight, am I?
It's already cut and dried, and you know it.
It is not cut and dry. The local plan is subject to examination by an independent planning inspector. She will decide whether, because this is a meeting with me from the council, trying to come along and explain to you what the consultation is and answer your questions. After this consultation, any comments, representations we receive will be sent to the planning inspector. The planning inspector will decide whether it means that she needs to think again about the proposal in front of her, and that could even involve a future hearing session which will be publicised, and people will be able to indicate if they want to take part in that hearing session.
If it's proved it's common land, you can't touch it, can you?
That's right.
Right. That's all we need to know.
What access? Where is the access to that?
Sorry, just let me try and answer the questions as they're asked. This lady at the front asked a question. The main access to the development will be Highfield Road with a secondary emergency access from Ashfield Road. There will be no access.
Have you been up Highfield Road?
Yes.
Have you tried to go up Highfield Road?
Yes. Sorry, some of you have asked questions. Please have the courtesy to let me answer other people's questions. I'm just trying to answer this question this lady's asked. There will be no vehicle access from any other road, but there may be pedestrian access or access by cyclists.
I live across from the Catholic school at bottom of Highfield Road. The last 2 weeks, outside my house, there's been 3 car accidents. Rang the police have been out, no further action to be taken. That's now. These developers come, we have the traffic up and down, somebody gets killed, will then something be done, and then we'll it down to the council to sort out the roads because they're disgusting now. And that's 2 weeks, 3 accidents already. Like I say, Rick, please, no further action. But is it going to take somebody to get killed before some action is taken?
And it's a school.
And it's a school. Up at the top of the street. No school. They've all got umps. Where's the umps outside the school? Nothing. That's Wakefield Council for you.
Okay,
Two schools.
I know that
Two
comment.
schools are gonna. The traffic going down here is. It's unreal now. If you put another 185 houses and they double the traffic, Highfield Road and Moorshire Road can't take it.
And Ashfield Road.
There's no room. And Ashfield Road, you can't even get up it.
Yeah, and they use our estate for a rat road, may I say.
Yeah.
They use our estate now as a rat road.
Just a minute. We're taking your questions and we're trying to answer them. Can I just ask a question? Just 1 minute, and I'll come to you. No, just 1 minute.
And the school's there. We can't get in and out of your drive for the traffic. When the school's coming out, it's horrendous. People taking shortcuts up across hills, up and down.
Yeah, because it takes long to go the same way.
I don't want any houses. And I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for all the residents on Moorshire Road and everybody here.
They don't know because they didn't get a letter.
Been there years. So why decide to build on it now?
Listen to us and what we want.
So
What we want.
can I ask, just a
We're the
minute.
people that wrote you're in.
Yes.
You're supposed to listen to us.
Yes.
And you're not listening to us.
You represent us, not other way around.
Yeah.
So, can I ask Neville then, is listening to, and your points have been taken, town clerk's logged a lot of your objections, what he's got, which I think are very reasonable. Would it be possible, Neville, is it your remit to put an objection in on our behalf, listening to these and looking at the infrastructure, what we've got, everything that they've said regarding, traffic, roads, doctors, dentists, schools, education, we just can't cope anymore. And it's not just this, it's Health 21 as well. So could you put anything forward, being in your profession, you know, listening to these, to put an objection on our behalf?
And there's some houses got 2 and 3 cars.
I can't make your representations for you. I'm part of the council that's preparing the plan. I can hear what you're saying, so I'm aware of your concerns. You need to put those concerns back to the councillors as part of this consultation. It sounds like the town council is going to coordinate that on your behalf, but I would encourage all of you to make comments about the consultation.
And the timescale for that is this Wednesday.
It is, yes.
This Wednesday, 2 days after this meeting. You're expecting everybody to put their objections in 2 days.
Can we have an extension on the 11th?
Coercion. How can anybody put all them complaints in place in 2 couple of days?
Within 2 days.
Ridiculous.
I think what I feel is missing here is this is nearly 6 weeks down the line, so why haven't the council and the chairman brought this to light for these people 6 weeks ago?
It has been brought to light.
No, we didn't.
It has.
We didn't know not until Shane put it on.
So
Oh no, but what I'm saying is, yeah, it got them, it won't.
You might have known, but we didn't know. None of us knew.
I'm talking about Shane. And
We're
I
not
put it
about
on, it's
the
been all over
residents,
Facebook, Melanie
we
Jones has
didn't
put it on
know.
Facebook.
Yeah, but it's not for 5 weeks.
Oh no, because we didn't know for 5 weeks.
No.
As soon as we found out about it, Shane took it on himself, being a South Ward councillor, to get some flyers to put on.
Right, now you know. Are you going to stand up for us then?
Of course, that's what we're doing now. And then as soon as we found out about it, I asked the town clerk to write to Wakefield to see if we could organise this meeting so that we could take your objections, put them forward here. If we need to take legal advice on this, then that's what we'll do. We've only got one Wednesday, but I can assure you, Alan will put one in on our behalf.
You live in the village. You know what the village. You know the traffic. It's been horrendous since they built Tesco, but that was all about money, getting a new library, getting a new school. So that everything's got to go round Tesco.
Look, I think everybody...
They built the bypass.
They built the KFC in the
Exactly. They built the bypass. Nobody using it. They cut through the estate.
Look, I think everybody agrees Tesco should have gone down on...
Our pollution levels are higher than they should be.
Yes, they
because
are.
of the congestion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's outrageous. And then you're going to try and bring more congestion up to a school that are doing well because the congestion's not there. We've got them out of the way. And you're just going to bring more pollution to kids.
Unreal. That's what that goes down to. Carbon footprint.
No.
Everything could centre around us.
Yeah.
Can I just say we've got some very elderly people around where we live, and they're frightened to go out.
Just hang on a minute, please. Just hang on a minute. Let this lady put a question forward, and then we see if we can answer it.
Right. We live up Greenfield Road, and we get a hell of a lot of traffic. We're a dead end, but everybody seems to use it as a turnaround.
Can we have some order, please?
Right.
Let this lady speak, and then we'll come to people at the back.
They use it as a turnaround. They're smashing into garden gates, which they have done on several occasions. Knock walls down, true. But not only that, we've got an elderly, we've got an elderly population up there who daren't go out. They've got carers coming up, and we've got carers coming up all the time. My neighbour has one 4 times a day.
On which road do these residents live on? Right, well, as I said, the main access to this site will be Highfield Road.
And the road is...
Highfield Road can't take it.
Yeah, but the road is very narrow anyway, as Jimmy knows, and Stan knows.
I also need to say that although we've done technical assessments as part of the plan making process, even if this land finds its way into the local plan, no development will take place until the planning application has been approved. And as part of that process, there'll be another opportunity to comment, but also there'll be much more detailed technical advice.
Yeah.
And if council officers think that there's an adverse impact on the highway as a result of the proposals, then the proposals will not benefit from planning consent by the council, but you must be aware that developers can appeal against refusal of planning.
Yeah, but they should think about the people that live in the communities.
Yes.
Because they put the bypass up, and then they made Hemsworth busy with Tesco and everything else. So they use our estate to come through onto Norwood Road, and then through the Scotch estate, and then through onto Bowser Road.
Okay, I mean, outside of this particular process, if you as local residents have views about how the local roads are used and any suggestions about how the council might be able to intervene to stop rat running, then by all means let the council know. My highways colleagues.
Well, we should have had, me and my husband John, we should have had a traffic light system this morning, getting out of Greenfield Road, because there were traffic coming from Norwood Road into Ashfield Road. It were like this.
Okay, I think there's a couple of people at the back of the room who wanted to ask questions, so, yes.
You know these maps you did us? You supplied the map, haven't you? Right? The second map that you showed us, it's got yellow. It also said safeguard land, correct?
It does, yes.
When the third one comes up, you've took part of that safeguarded land.
And that's the change that is the subject of the current consultation.
You're telling us it's safeguarded, and now you're telling us it's not.
Because there's no such thing as safeguarded land. They take what
You're
they
telling
want.
us it's safeguarded, but now you're telling us it's not.
Just let me answer. It's safeguarded in the publication draft version of the plan. This consultation is about a potential change to that draft plan. Now, that incursion into the yellow area is in order to provide the replacement plane bridges.
First of all, Neville, I was just going to say what the gentleman's just been on about now with these plans and then safeguard land in yellow, but yet this is what this is all about, and that's going to be part of the playing field. The second thing is letters. Did any residents in that area get a letter? Because I think
No.
they're entitled to a letter if it's going to affect them. That's
Not one, nothing.
And another thing, obviously there's been concern with Tesco's, Costa. This council objected to Costa and to Kentucky. There were a mixed feeling on it, but we did because of congested traffic. Also, Chair's been very vocal about emissions in this area, and actually by somebody in the public did say stop exaggerating the figures. It's always been a big thing with the emissions in area because he obviously he knows the levels and everything because he's been looking into it. So we have objected, and if we'd have known any of this, obviously we would have, and we're going to start now. We're going to start
It's a bit late. I apologise, but we have had emails off Alan about this. And I have Shane, Jack, keep asking for statements of information of this draft, and we got nowhere. So again, we did know about this.
Right, it was up in the last planning and policy, and all councillors were here. I was chair, and I asked if there's been any, if you remember, I asked if there's been any objections, anything towards these proposals that were on our paper. I didn't get anything. Nothing. It's not, I know that. I only know what you're telling me now. I only know what you're telling me now.
Did Chairman tell you?
We've been telling you since last August.
What was that?
We've actually told, excuse me, Councillor Eccles been on about this LP 21 and all the sites named on the LP 2036 since last August. Yeah, we are. You all have been aware of what's been going on.
I've been asking for a statement of information for the past 3 weeks.
And you did say you believe me because I weren't lying. I haven't.
Which you did tell us.
And I haven't.
These people should have been given,
Yes.
what we weren't given, by the council, statement of information community plan. You've done on these people what you've done on Springvale Rise, and that includes Mr. Neville Ford.
Yes.
The extension, if you look at your map, to HS54, 6 weeks ago, were presented as LP 1511, 6 weeks ago. That's the only one. The other one, which is HS54, were for 80 dwellings that were passed about 12 years ago. And nobody made representations with that. Exactly, because that's the way, it's not just Wakefield Council, it's most of councils throughout the country, the way that they do it. But what we intend to do now is, like I've said, Alan's taken most concerns to raise this. If he needs to take legal advice, then he can take this to put an objection in to planning inspector and to Wakefield before Wednesday. And it's got 2 pages full here, so that's what we intend to do, to make that objection.
Can't you all look into this common land thing then for us on this playing field?
Yes, we can.
I can guarantee you that I was in a meeting with Wakefield Council when they told me it was common land, and that's why we couldn't lease that land from them.
So it should be in the minutes.
Not the field was donated to the estate, that's what they told me, I think in 1964, and it was donated to the estate as common land for the estate. And this is what the council told me.
What's your meeting with Tim Johnson from Parks and Realm? Yeah, right. So if we can have a look, Alan, if we can contact Tim Johnson to see if he's got minutes from that meeting where it was stated it's common land, and then like Neville said, if it is common land, then obviously it can't be moved. That's what it
We
should
don't want
do.
it touching.
Yeah, I'll just let Shane come in here, Shane, yeah?
Were there any more questions from people at the back? I think 1 or 2 were trying to ask questions before. The lady with her hand up.
Like I just said, if it gets proven that it's common land, can we have that in writing so that the council then, Wakefield Council, can't go back on it and can't take it off us?
If it's common
Because
land.
at the end of the day, the information that you've passed to us tonight, in my opinion, all you've been doing is deflecting the questions and not answering them in a way that we've asked them. And it shouldn't be you here tonight, it should be the lady, Catherine, whatever the name is, not you. And this is why we're angry, because she's just bobbing us off again.
I'm sorry if I've not answered your question. I'm trying to answer them. If the land is common land, it will be registered as common land, and I won't need to tell you. It will be on the common land register, which is available to everyone to inspect.
Well, we'll all be on the internet having a look, and if it is, you will get letters about it.
Rising what a friend does.
The lady in the second row.
Wait a minute.
There we go.
I've lived up Highfield Road for 57 years. The one putting the windows in when I shifted in that house. I've never budged from that house, and that playing field I was promised was always going to be a playing field, because I asked about it when I was 21-year-old, and I'm now 79. So where does that take you?
Well, we will look into the question that was asked about is this common land. But just be reassured from me, if the playing fields are lost, they will be replaced adjacent to where they will be replaced adjacent to where they are now, so they'll still be available to the local community.
You're building them houses and you're having this other piece of
Sorry, I'm not building any houses, I'm not having any land.
Well,
Well, you know you are, and you're getting back hangers on.
Sorry, can we just try and ask a question one at a time, please? Instead of shouting over each other.
I'm trying to get the points
Well,
across to you.
I'll
You've got a microphone, I haven't.
sorry, I can hear you. I'll ask two more questions. And then I'll come to Mrs. Scott.
When they took the sports facilities off us at Charlie's, and he built properties on there, they gave us a playing field. And that is not fit for purpose because the drainage on it is absolutely useless. And it was supposed to be open to the public, and we have to pay to use that, so we're going to have to pay to use this other land as well.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, we paid for this up there, and it were land that kids used up West End.
And that was promised to replace the sports facilities down here, and we can't use it.
You're talking about moving the field, right? You're talking about moving it adjacent to, this land, this property that you're building on, right? On that top field, there's over 30 different species of wildflower, and there's bees and everything. So you're just going to pick all that and just slam it up on side, and it'll still be intact. You've got to dig it up, you've got to move it all up, so you're destroying all ecosystems, you're taking all edges, going along where all birds are nesting. We've hardly got any wildlife left around here because it's all getting built on.
And some of those birds could have been removed are actually on the red list. You've got skylarks, yellow rabbits. They need to go on. Wakefield Council tries to pride itself on conservation. You're nothing but hypocrites.
And you will know if that is common land, because you've made the plans and you would have looked into that. So are
You're
you
stealing it.
saying you're going to look into it, or do you already know it's not common land? One way or the other, what is it? Because you do know.
It's common land, all allotments around here are common land as well, it's all common land.
It's sitting there telling lies. It's either common land, yes or no.
Okay, well, as far as
You know it is.
I'm aware, it's not common land.
Yeah, it is common.
So but because it's been raised tonight, then I will ask some of my colleagues to look into that to confirm that we are basing our proposals on accurate information. So what else can I say? That we will do that. In terms of protected species and any existing habitat, again, I'm not specifically aware of that, but any form of new development will not be able to impact on protected species.
So can I ask a question? How can they not impact it if they're digging it up to build on it?
Well, we won't be digging it up to build on it if that's the case.
You will be removing hedgerows, what's been long established. It takes years for a decent hedgerow to grow.
Not only that,
But you don't plant natural hedgerows, you're planting crap, like you always do.
Yeah.
It'll be the developers who are
And I've got another question as well,
replanting
please.
hedgerows or planting.
So if these houses get put up, right, what are people in the surrounding area around the fields going to be breathing in? Pesticides coming in from field where farmers spray. Where's all fresh? There's no fresh air. You've got a full field surrounding it, and he's coming by spraying it with pesticides. People got their houses, the doors open in summer, and they're breathing that in.
And that doesn't happen now.
It might do,
Yes,
but
it
not
does.
right next to the field. Well, field that was here.
Very professional answer from Wakefield Council.
You know
that
whether
doesn't happen
that's
now.
common land or not.
Arrogance, that's all it is.
You know
It
whether
doesn't
that's
happen
common land or
now.
not.
Arrogance. You come up against a different class of people
So,
here, mate. We don't just take what you say.
Listen, ladies and gents, if I can just reiterate where we came to. This LP 1511 were brought up to be amended 6 weeks ago. As soon as we found out about that, your council for South Ward, Shane Paletti, one or two other councils got involved to let you know. What you must understand tonight is that Neville's he don't work for building side at a Wakefield Council. He just deals with LDF. And it's length and breadth of this country, and we're 100% right with what you're saying, that it's wrong. You can't be keep building hundreds of houses without infrastructure to go with them. Like you said, that field up there has probably been there for 70 or 80 years. we all used to play on it when St. Pat's had it and everything.
Well, we want
Like you said about this, and that's our objection, to safeguard this, to stop any further development up there. And Alan's taken all notes, and we'll try and put something together. But for people that's on emails, if you can get the address which to write to, which is Wakefield Planning, Neville Ford, he will put our objections together. And the stronger that we can put them in, the better representation it is. Because I do apologise, you know, it's 11th hour, but at least we can try and get as many in as we can by Wednesday, because I think we're all singing from the same hymn sheet. We all don't want any more development, not just up there, but at Woodlands as well.
Excuse me, why is it the 11th hour? When we've only just found about it now, why is it the 11th hour? Should we not be given an extension? Because at the end of the day, you didn't give us this information, which you should have by law, so we need an extension. Because we can all get legal advice about the way you're going about this.
Just let him answer the question then. Go on, can you give an extension over this?
We're not proposing an extension to the consultation.
Let the people that want planning, the people that's going to build, would you give them extensions if they goes against them? Yeah, I bet you will.
We won't, but
I bet you will.
if you haven't had an opportunity to look at this document, I'd advise you to try and do so.
Where do we obtain it from?
It's in the library.
Oh, big deal.
It's on the website.
I tried the website and I could not get through it.
I've tried using the website personally, and it's almost a nightmare. Even when you put the postcode in at the top of the road, it doesn't even come up.
It was not easy to use.
It doesn't even show. When you put the postcode in the top, it doesn't come up. It's blocked. So this about trying to find it. Most people, especially old age pensioners, I can't work that out. As soon as you put that postcode in the top of that street, it should come straight up with planning details, and it don't. Why? And that's the same postcode that they're telling us to place in to find it, to look at it.
No, listen. You're thinking about the planning application website. You need to look at the local plan examination survey on the council's website.
Why has nobody told us that it's there? Nobody's told us. How can someone look at something when they haven't even been told it's there?
I think your local councillors have identified where this information is. It's been tweeted around.
I haven't identified it. He's identified it.
How we found out a few days ago.
Do we need a metal detector? Identify it. Not a member at CIA.
Can I just say that some of you have asked specific questions about certain matters such as ecology or highways. In this document, it does explain what we would expect to happen. So if I could just, in response very quickly to the question asked by the chap in the blue t-shirt about ecology, and the lady behind, I think, also mentioned habitats. It says in here, in this document, the hedgerow alongside Highfield Road will be retained within publicly managed land. The loss of amenity short sward grassland on the northern section will be mitigated by provision of on-site locally nature species rich grassland. Appropriate ecological assessment and a habitat survey are required to identify the level of impact from the development on ecology.
So let me ask a question.
And
if that's true, why hasn't that been done before you even had the plans done? There you go. That should have been done before. And exactly, and if that is right, why haven't we been told about it?
Yes, Dave.
Can I just say, I live next to the sports complex. There's 174 houses designated beyond the complex, 26 at the front. Wakefield Council operates a policy of 30% affordable housing, but there's no affordable housing in those 200 houses, no education contribution, no infrastructure contribution, and as long as you've got sweetheart deals between Wakefield Planning and developers, the infrastructure's not going to go anywhere. And as regards a play area, there were one designated up Wilson Homes, right? When they built that estate up there, and a former councillor bought it for £1.
This gentleman here, I'll take the last question.
Regarding the infrastructure getting in and out of these new houses, it's supposed to be Ashfield Road and Highfield Road, right? Has the council been in contact with every single person on those roads and asked them about,
Not one single person.
and asked them whether they think it will take more traffic, or does the council rely on people looking through the internet? Because that, I think, is important, that they should be consulted individually to see if they think that those roads will take more traffic.
Not take it, there's no way.
And I know for a fact that it won't take it.
No way.
It's bad enough at the moment. Do you mind if I, have you ever been on a bus going up Ashfield Road? No. Well, there's cars parked on either side, and quite often the bus has got to stop and he's going toot, 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 because somebody's blocked the way, and the bus can't get up through there. Highfield Road is just as bad. It's a narrow road. At the terrace houses, there's cars parked. At the semi-detached houses opposite the school field, there's cars parked. There's sometimes a space which is just wide enough for one car to go through, and there's lorries trying to get through.
Can we have some order, please?
Ambulances, fire engines, police cars, they can't get through.
Well, I take the point. No, we haven't asked individuals living on Highfield Road, but we have taken advice from our highways colleagues. There has been an assessment done by our highways colleagues.
That is one of the points. When somebody's dealing with it, they don't live in the area. That is why they need to be consulted individually.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch.
Sorry about that, but 2 or 3 accidents in a week and no one's done about it.
We will
check
safety records, and if we think it's unsafe, then the proposal will not go ahead.
Oh, it's our job to decide whether it's safe, because it's unsafe on the road.
I'll just take another 3 questions, please, for people that have not asked a question, if that's fair enough. Yes, so this young lady in front.
I'd like to say that there's too much emphasis online. It's not easy, it's all technical jargon, you need a good brain to sort it out. And a third of the population are elderly, I should imagine. They don't do internet. What's wrong with letters? We get our council tax letters, you know. Why can't we have letters?
The process needs to change.
We're quite happy to receive comments about the process, and obviously we'd like to try and improve that, but we are encouraged by government to consult electronically where possible. But the documents are available locally. Your local councillors and district councillors are aware of the documents. And obviously we want to try and engage in the best ways we can. But we're looking at a plan here that covers the whole of Wakefield district. So unlike dealing with individual planning applications, we're not able to post notices. As I said, we looked at over 900 site options, and
so we must have all.
And you decide to take our playing field on the place that the kids have got up there. Great.
I'll take questions on this lady here, please.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
Just 1 minute, just let this lady.
Yeah. I would back up what Francis has said. I'm actually pretty technologically literate, and I found that website very difficult to navigate. It's not clear, and also a lot of the population are digitally excluded, and you are excluding them from your process. And going back to your point about the documents being available more widely, they're not. There's nothing available at the local library.
There is.
I fail to see why you keep saying, I know you keep saying that you can't send out letters. I don't understand why you cannot send out letters. Why is that hard?
Well, it's expensive. People don't always take any notice of mail coming through their doors, but the documents are available locally.
You could have sent out a mail.
Yes, we can do, but we do set out in a document called Statement of Community Involvement how and what we're going to do. That's being tested through examination.
How are you supposed to know about the Statement of Community Involvement? How do you find out about that?
Because that was a document that was examined quite a long time ago through the same process.
So when you say it was examined, who was it examined by?
By an independent planning inspector.
So not by the local community? Was that a publicly available document?
Yes.
And how was that made publicly available?
In the same ways that we make the documents available now.
So online.
So
you have to know what words to use to search the website in order to find your documents. Do you find that problematic?
A significant number of people, I haven't got the number in front of me, have asked to be involved in the process of plan making from when we started preparing this plan, which was in 2017. It runs into the thousands. Those people get correspondence from us at every stage of the process. So anybody who's already made a representation, and it's been referenced to LP 21 earlier this evening, if they made representations, they will have been recorded, and those people will have received communication about this particular consultation.
You have to have a fairly high level of awareness in order to get yourself included in this loop. Now, I understand that this plan was published in October 2020, the overarching plan for the whole district.
Current draft version.
The current draft version.
In lockdown.
In lockdown, when all the libraries were shut. Yeah, there were no community meetings happening.
There's been a consultation prior to that.
Not that we were aware of. Again, we're going back to how are people supposed to become aware of the consultations.
Yes, I take the point, and clearly we need to do things better in order to try and make sure people. But many people are not interested.
Well, obviously.
I know you don't like this, but the people who are interested are the people who don't want development near them.
No, the people who are interested are the people who
are taking us field,
mainly.
The traffic coming through.
No one's intending to take or remove.
You're moving the field so that you can get access to the building dynamics of art. That's why where we live. That's what it's about.
You've made that point very clear, and that presumably will come back as feedback to the council from this consultation.
I'll take a question from you. I coach up there. I have for the last 5 years. And on a Sunday, if everybody's at home, you're talking around 80 children, 60 cars, and that includes away, including away, so teams coming. Where are these cars going to go on to this new site? Are we going to park these up on the new estate? Are these people going to be happy that we're blocking their drives and everything to access this field?
One of the opportunities, I appreciate you won't think there are many opportunities here, but one of the opportunities is actually to make sure the provision for parking is improved to try and alleviate the current problems with parking.
We put its own gates on that field, and on the match days, and on the training days, we open that, and we have a parking area. What takes them all off the estate, so nobody's out there. No, I'm just going to go back to this.
Thank you.
But because it's not big enough at that point, sometimes we have overspill like that. But most coaches, like myself, when we send out our message, we ask them to park on the field so the residents don't get this happening.
Yeah.
So if you're going to move us to that other side of that area, we've now got to drive through this new estate with all these cars, and plus a lot of people who live on our estate, because of the equipment, they're going to drive through there as well. Where are these going to park now?
They're very legitimate points to make, so they need to feed it back to the council, and we will try and make sure that the developers, if they bring their proposals forward, make proper provision for parking for those playing pitches without inconvenience existing for proposed occupiers of any new homes that might be built.
know what you keep talking about, the
Question,
developers.
Nancy. You had your hand up, Nancy. Okay, then. Yes, Lynn.
I'd just like to come back to the point about the poor communication and the poor process. I actually work for a company that builds houses. I spend quite a lot of time looking at planning applications and looking at land where we might apply for planning. And I've got to be honest, trying to make headway through what's on your website about these plans, I found difficult, and I know what I'm doing. I'm exceptionally computer literate, and I'm used to looking at issues like this, and I found it very, very difficult. So how we expect an 80-year-old resident to do it, I have no idea. Your process is poor. It's very poor.
So, Alan's taken most of your concerns, your objections and your complaints. If I could just ask you for people that has got a computer, if you can send an email with any further objections that you've got, or if you highlight any problems, I think, it's a no-no. I know Scotch Estate, Highfield Road, and I know what it's like, the double park. A lot of time, when your service bus goes up, you can't get up and down properly, so you can imagine what another 100 houses is going to do plus. So once again then, if you can drop an email in to Alan with your concerns so that he can review what he's got, and there might be some good points that you want to mention, and then we can get this objection in and make representation before Wednesday.
What is the email address?
It's clerk, C-L-E-R-K, at Hemsworth Council. .co.uk.
Can you repeat that, please?
Nanny, will you put it on for us?
Clerk.
We can all get it on the home.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Clerk at Hemsworth Council. .co.uk. And then Alan can include things that is not being taken, if you want to take down today.
Is that all lowercase?
Yes, all lowercase, yeah. Shane? John?
Can I make one point? So this is the last meeting of ULP 21, and a comment was made that while yes we are going to appeal against it to the council, that is classed as one objection. Where surely you're better off if for those who can use the computers, all go on the website. If you can work it out, one way for the website, because if you all do it as one, that's one. But if you all do it individually, that's 2, 3, 4, 20, 30, 40. There might be 70 people put one objection in, but it's counted as one. And that's all the look at is one. So if you can do it, I think do you share some things on your so the links James shared on the hub page, that go on and do it yourselves as well. Because that gives them more meat, more weight behind it. So a lot of times, as I said, people put in objections using a body like a council, and that's one objection. All there'll be 20, 30, 40, 50.
Yeah, I would endorse that, but what I'd also say is I think the town council, if it is responding on behalf of the people at this public meeting tonight, it should give an indication roughly of how many people are at this meeting tonight.
Can I just add that it's not the end of the story. Carry on, and even in months' time we can still object against it. Tonight isn't the end of it. This guy's turned out, and fair play to him, he has turned out, and I know you're all mad, I'm mad. But carry on doing what we're doing and we might get there. Don't give in. Say again?
Wednesday's closing day. They need to do it before Wednesday.
Yeah, before Wednesday, but after that, it's not end of story. We can still object, still carry on object. And I'd just like to add as well, I've been getting the praise for putting these leaflets out. There's 3 people that put the leaflets out, not me. I haven't done any walking about. One Hugh McCrary is standing at the back there. He volunteered to put some leaflets out, so a round of applause should go to that guy.
And your darling wife.
And my darling wife as well, yeah. And she said to me, before I come out, she said, you dare name me and I'll kill you. So I'm dead. She gets a close point for Shane.
And Eric.
And so, Eric as well.
Once again then, ladies and gents, thank you for attending tonight. I think we have got somewhere. We've got an objection going in. We'll set the process on. I know we don't like to hear what this gentleman says, but I'd also like to thank him for taking his time and coming along to put us in picture about, what we're trying to stop. Thank you once again for attending.
It's not to that point yet. This is just